Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A fellowship of everyone. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Good morning. And welcome. Welcome. Better? Welcome to the First Universalist Church of Rochester, where we are called to nurture the spirit and serve the community. I am Johanna Connolly, she, her, and the rest of the people aren't written down. And we have Reverend James Galasinski from Kenton Church leading the service today. We have tech support over there. I'm sorry, what's your name? McCormick. Thank you, doing the tech stuff. Someone's in charge of online. Is it Glenn? Karen. Okay, we've got an online person. The names are supposed to be in here. And Dr. Brock, he must be up there, Chusfold, in charge of music, Kitty Forbush, and Clinton Swingle are going to do the music. Okay. If you're here for the first time, we especially welcome you. Thank you for making it to this worshiping community. We have a visitors form that can be found in the chat for our folks at home. Online, yes, and can be accessed by scanning the QR code in your pews or on the back of the order of service. Please fill out the form so we can offer you a welcome beyond this worshiping service. Before we take a moment to turn to our neighbor, let us take a moment to turn towards the camera and greet our online worshiping community. Please offer a wave. Camera's back there. Okay. If you're online, please pop into the chat for a greeting. If you're here at First Universalist, let us take a moment to turn to our neighbor this morning and offer a greeting. Okay, if everyone is sufficiently greeted, let us sing together the opening hymn, For the Beauty of the Earth, number 21. I have a short poem by someone named Judy Gran. They say she is veiled and a mystery. That is one way of looking. Another is that she is where she always has been, exactly in place, and it is we who are mystified, we who are veiled and without faces. That's the poem. The universe appears to us as a mystery because we aren't clear enough to see the reality of creation. This is the beauty of creation. We are the ones who are veiled. Judy Grant's poem expresses the biblical teaching, for now we see in a mirror dimly, then face to face. We need generosity, enthusiastic and strenuous effort, as well as patience, kindness, and compassion, and meditative contemplation to progress along the path. It is when we lift our veils of fear, anger, pain, and doubt that we have a direct experience of the mystery. Would Bill Schubmir please come forward and light the chalice for us? And if you have one at home, light your chalice at home. Let's recite together the words. May we be a people of welcome, here to grow in heart and mind and spirit, and may we reach out to serve our community. Please stand in body or in spirit as we recite our affirmation of faith, followed by our doxology. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity and fellowship, to the end all souls shall grow into harmony with the source and meaning of life. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all. The plate offering this week is going to St. Joseph's House of Hospitality. It's about 3 blocks away from my house, and my husband spent a lot of time there. It's a Rochester, New York Catholic workers community. It was established in 1941. It not only provides shelter for the homeless, but they also help individuals transition from unstable living situations to a stabler, healthier environment. As tenants at Alexander Apartments. It's a beautiful building right on the corner of Alexander and provide a safe, secure, and affordable living environment for people with substance abuse disabilities. As you know, those people are often excluded from placement. Alex House. At Alex House, residents continue to develop the social, emotional, and economic skills needed for independent living and to lead a productive life. Residents and others involved in Alex House's success will establish and promote an environment to achieve these objectives. Hospitality is the name of their lunch program. Beside a hot and tasty lunch, they also provide access to services and simple needs. They provide a place where organizations from around the city can reach out. Health, legal, housing, and other services find St. Joseph's House a useful place to meet with guests in need. Please be as generous as you can to support this worthy organization. You're invited to give online by scanning the QR code in your pews or to drop an offering in the offering basket. For those online, please click the link in the chat to give to First Universalist Church. Thank you all for your generosity.
So I bought singing lessons for I'm singing lessons in our church auction, and I wanted to thank Ann Rohde for encouraging me strongly to sing. I'm an enthusiastic singer, but I don't know about a good singer. So. But I'm happy to sing for our congregation. This is my debut. Whoops. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Every night and every morn, some our misery are born. Every morn and every night, some are born to sweet delight. Joy and woe are woven fine, clothing for the soul divine. Under every grief and pine runs a joy with silk entwined. It is right, it should be so. We were made for joy and woe, and when this we rightly know, safely through this life we'll go.
Now I have a story from the Reverend.
Sorry about that, technical difficulties. We're all used to that, right? No. In my congregation, we always tell a story, and I want to share with you a story that I found a number of years ago. It's a story of a little girl named Cecilia Payne. Anyone ever heard of Cecilia Payne? Okay, good. You're going to learn a little bit about her. From a very young age, she fell in love with the universe. You see, when she was still a small child, she was being pushed by her mother in a stroller, and she saw a shooting star. And she was put into a state of awe. From that moment on, she knew she wanted to become an astronomer. She picked out the Big Dipper. She quickly learned the names of all the constellations in the sky, and she wondered, what are these stars made up of? Are they born? Do they die? By the age of 12, she became very good at math, and as a teenager, she joyfully studied the chemical elements that make up our world. She spent hours in a laboratory, which she called her chapel. She conducted little worship services all on her own before the magnificence of the universe that was in front of her. She faced many obstacles, being a woman who also wanted to be a scientist. In 1919, she wanted to study physics, but could only get into a botany program. Apparently, over 100 years ago, it was okay to study botany, but not physics. She began to attend lectures, actually sneak into physics lectures of which she said she found pure delight. When she learned that motion was indeed relative, she couldn't sleep for 3 nights. She left botany behind and persuaded the college to allow her to obtain a degree in physics. Then she moved to the US to study astronomy at the Harvard Observatory. Going back to her childhood and all these questions she had, she longed to know what made up the stars, and she was now looking for the answers. And before all the technology that we have today, she concluded that stars were made up of what? Hydrogen and helium. And many of her male supervisors would not agree with her. She was the first person awarded a PhD in astronomy from Radcliffe College. Harvard would not grant degrees to women at that time. Even though she was named a lecturer at Harvard in 1938, but because of her gender, it took her 23 years to be named a full professor. Harvard's first full professor and female professor. So she married, and she had 3 children, and she lived in that Boston area, and she raised her 3 children at the UU church there in Massachusetts. And like all good UU parents, Cecilia became an RE teacher. And once she walked 3.5 miles through a snowstorm to teach her class and pass on her amazement of the universe. Her quest led her to be in direct touch with the fountainhead, whether you call it God or the universe. So let's recap this. A Unitarian Universalist was the first Harvard female professor and the first to correctly identify what stars are made up of. Unitarian Universalists are kind of cool, aren't we? Yeah. So I invite you, to really pay special attention to what you wonder about. Because who knows, it may lead you on a quest to the heart of stars.
Come now to time when we hear people's joys and sorrows. As Patty Goodwin places a stone into the bowl for each person, I will read aloud the joys and sorrows that are written here. People at home can put the joys and sorrows into the chat, and we will see them on the screen. This past Wednesday, my brother Jack from Lincoln, Nebraska, stopped for a visit, met my grandchildren for the first time. Taya was off to her first year of college the next day. Brody is starting his junior year of high school. We had a wonderful family visit, says Shirley Malone. This is a sorrow from Dwight Montague, a sorrow for the people of Hawaii after the Lahaina fires. The loss of life, property, and culture will be a tough wound to heal. I don't see any chats coming up. But, all right, we'll drop one final stone into the bowl to represent all the joys and sorrows left unspoken in a silent, oh, there are some? Okay. A joy, the kids and I are headed to Florida in the morning for a nice getaway, says Kara. And Karen Labraco says, a joy to see old friends online and with us this morning. Oh, good. Sorrow for, again, the people of Maui. I can't see which one. And I think I got them all.
The top one from Phil.
See another one?
Someone was guessing the name of the astronomer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Cecilia Payne.
Cecilia. And is it up there? Because that's too far away. And okay, here we go. Cecilia Payne. Okay. Thank you. Okay. We drop one final stone into the bowl to represent all the joys and sorrows left unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. May all be held in the heart of love.
I invite you into the spirit of meditation and prayer. Invited to sit comfortably wherever you are, feeling your feet flat on the ground. Take a step back from all the to-do lists of life. Let's take some deep breaths together. In through the nostrils, out through the mouth. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Now allow your breath to go to its natural place. And just feel your belly rise and fall. Release yourself from all your usual pursuits. Free your mind from all its pulls and attractions. And just be present to all you hear, see, feel, and think. Notice it all. And if you can, let it all go. In this silence, we realize we cannot own, know, do, or be everything. But we can be connected to something larger than ourselves. We can be part of a greater love, a greater life. In the peace of this space, we bring the spirit of healing to a world that is changing more rapidly than we can cope. From heat waves in the southwest and the northwest, hurricanes and tropical storms in Southern California and Mexico, flooding in Vermont, New York, and the horrible wildfires on the island of Maui. May we extend this peace and compassion out to the world, to especially those who suffer. Boundless and embracing spirit of life and love, we gather to be united in our quest for a deeper understanding, a deeper connection of the sacredness of the earth. We call upon the wisdom of the ancient sages, the strength of our ancestors who lived with grace and dignity, as we honor and recognize the inherent value of the web of life, which sustains us all, for the earth, for the sky, above and below, and for the mystery May we always find renewal in the beauty that is always around us. Amen. Please rise in body and or spirit and join with me in our hymn of contemplation, number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning. I chose for a reading today from the book The Sacred Depths of Nature by Ursula Goodenough. She is a professor of biology emerita at Washington University in St. Louis. I got a chance to study with her in Chicago at Meadville Lombard in a class on religious naturalism that she team taught with a theologian. She's now happily retired and sings in the choir at the Unitarian Universalist Society of Martha's Vineyard. She writes, "Does not some theology flow from the fact that the universe was so right and our planet was so right that life became inevitable? A line of reasoning called the anthropic principle states that since the laws of physics are perfect for the emergence of chemistry, and chemistry is perfect for the emergence of life, that it all must have been designed so as to yield life in general and human life in particular. Had any of the laws of physics been anything other than what they are, the universe would have been very different and perhaps not possible at all, and life as we know it would not have evolved. True enough. But of course, all these things could just as well have happened by chance, since had they occurred any other way, we wouldn't be sitting here wondering about them. The inherent circularity of the anthropic principle argument leaves me, in the end, theologically unsatisfied. And so, I once again revert to my covenant with mystery and respond to the emergence of life, not with a search for its design or purpose, but instead with outrageous celebration that it occurred at all. So first off, I'd like to say grace and peace to all of you from your siblings in faith and in name at the First Universalist Society in the town of Canton, where I am privileged to serve. It's beautiful to be here in this wonderful, great sanctuary with you. Some of you I've met, have been here before, I think online, maybe in the pandemic, I don't know, it was all a blur. I would like to say Reverend Lane May Reed has become a dear colleague of mine and someone who supports my ministry, is honest with me, has a heart for social justice, is a natural leader, and is through and through committed to Unitarian Universalism. And over the past few years has not only become a friend, a colleague, but a dear friend. And also will add, I went on sabbatical last year, and Lane May Reed filled in for me, and I said I would fill in for you once as well. And I want to also say, sabbaticals are great for ministers. Thank you for giving Lane May Reed a sabbatical. And it supports long, healthy, good ministry in general. So across Main Street from the congregation I serve, surrounded by 4 other churches, 2 banks, a post office, and a library, lies our village green, which hosts a farmer's market on Fridays in the summer and fall. In 2021, after vaccines were available and COVID cases in the community began to fall, our church began to offer in-person worship again, but in-person attendance was pretty low. I had not seen the whole congregation in person in over a year, and my ministry was dry. Dry like the crusty cap on a maple syrup bottle. So I would go to the farmer's market not just for my vegetables, but to get a healthy dose of community and congregational life. I wanted to just say hello to my people. I wanted to see how tall the kids had gotten, in some cases very tall. My son even came with me and he played with his RE friends. The farmer's market felt more like church than church did. One congregant introduced me to someone new to the area. They were looking to volunteer in some local social justice projects. And I said, hi, I'm the minister at the Unitarian Universalist Church, which is right over there, the one with the Black Lives Matter sign. It's really a great community, committed to social justice. Please check us out sometime. Our services are 10:30 a.m. on Sundays. Now that's about as evangelical as I get. That won't work for us. You see, our church is nature, they responded. Now, just that tone and in that response irked me a little bit. And like any good Unitarian Universalist minister in a small village where there is 1 degree of separation between everyone, I simply politely smiled and responded, oh, please tell me more about that. And on Sunday mornings, my family goes hiking or skiing in the mountains or rock climbing, they replied, and I left it at that, and the conversation soon ended. But in retrospect, maybe I should have said a little bit more. Maybe I should have been more evangelical. Perhaps I should have told them that basically all of us, to a lesser or greater extent, have revered the natural world since, I don't know, the early 1800s, the Transcendentalist movement. Nature is one of the few things that we can agree on. Who here doesn't, at least on occasion, find wisdom in wind, reverence in rain? Who hasn't been moved by mountains, called to prayer by the prairie, or found salvation on the savannah? How much does UU church attendance drop on Sundays when the snow is just right for skiing? Or when it's one of those odd, beautiful, sunny, warm days like today? Perhaps the greatest threat to Unitarian Universalism is not the New York Times and a cup of coffee, but simply being in nature. Now, there's been a lot of research done that shows that being in nature is good for us. Plus, our practical experience confirms this, right? Nature calms us. It relaxes us. Just being in nature can rid us of all the negative voices that are in our heads that say we need to do more, that we are not worthy, that we're not deserving, and we're not adequate enough. And so does Unitarian Universalism. You have peace within you. You are worthy of love because of who you are. You. Now, being in nature can fill us with awe. And I'm not just talking about going on a vacation to some pristine wilderness somewhere. Sometimes I take a bowl of banana and onion peels to the compost pile at night. And sometimes the sky is dark and cloudless, and I stand deliberately in the shadow of our old carriage house. And if the moon isn't too bright, I can look up and see thousands and thousands of twinkling lights. And on occasion, if I'm patient, a shooting one. Sometimes my neck hurts from looking vertical for too long. Where did all this endlessness come from? Why did we emerge from it? I'm sure we have all been there. It's as if the beauty of the universe answers us back silently in the language of awe and says, you too are beautiful. Then I went back inside and said to my wife, we are just puny and powerless compared to the planets. And then she says, where were you? I thought you just went to take out the compost. The mystery of the universe is vast and endless, and it fills us with awe. And so does Unitarian Universalism. Awe is the feeling of being in the presence of something vast that transcends our understanding of the world, says Dr. Keltner, a psychologist at the University of California, Berkeley, and author of the excellent book, Awe, the New Science of Everyday Wonder and How It Can Transform Your Life. His research suggests that the experience of awe has tremendous health benefits that promote trust and bonding in our relationships. But awe isn't just reserved for starry nights alone in the shadows of a carriage house. Dr. Keltner found that in the simple act of witnessing the goodness of others, we also experience awe. When I hear of an elder in our congregation who no longer has any living relatives left, and a team of congregants organically rise to care for that person, awe wells up in me. Or maybe when we hear from in a small group or from this pulpit that someone is working on overcoming problems stemming from their trauma of their family of origin, or that they are doing the work to liberate themselves and their communities from racism, we can be awed by a moral beauty. We experience awe out there as much as we experience it in here. Now, I love walks alone in the forest, along the river, and just trying to be mindful of the shadows of the trees and how the green lichens on the bark contrast with the sunlit green leaves. These need not be Grand Canyon or mountaintop experiences. It's just noticing the sunset, the night sky, that can keep us primed for mystery. But I believe Practicing an everyday awe should also involve participation in communities that ritualize and celebrate this rich mystery of life that we are all a part of. As Ursula Goodenough points out, the way that we and life emerged is mysterious, and we do not need some grand design or purpose. Awe invites us into a humble, tender treaty with not knowing, a covenant with mystery. Having a covenant with mystery implores us to explore. Dr. Keltner tells us that the more people are open to awe, the more they are open to new ideas, to what language can't yet describe, to the mystery. Having a close covenant with mystery encourages us to experiment with our ministries and service to the community and freely face failure. In this post-pandemic shakeup that we are all in, we don't necessarily have to rebuild what was. We can embrace the future by taking risks. As Unitarian Universalists, we have a lot to be proud of, and we have a lot of love to share. One Sunday in social hour, my son had bright pink sneakers on, and one of my people in my congregation, not knowing that he was being excluded and teased at school for his pink clothing choices, said, "I like your style. You look beautiful." Nature says to us, "You look beautiful." And so does Unitarian Universalism. There's a mystery here. Here. Gathered together in the awe of this hour. And the fact that we assembled uniquely here at all, on computers, cell phones, tablets, and in person, to celebrate this emergent life process that is around us and before us. Fortunately, this doesn't require wealth, status, or any kind of special hiking boots. So that person I met at the farmer's market, maybe I should have said a little bit more. Go spend your time in nature. Be healed by its beauty and its power, but also sense the awe and peace we find naturally in our gathering, in our assembly, in our one holy, sacred gathering. Nature and beloved community both lead us to awe, to the mystery, to a healthier, more meaningful life. After all, what is science without mystery? What is religion without awe? When we are awestruck, we do math better, we think more clearly, we do better ministry, and are better and happier people for it. Our faith calls us to revel in that mystery. So play in it, pray in it, and make a relationship with it. Mystery meets here in relationship with ourselves on these blue-green hills of earth. And together, we can build habits of inner peace so that we can comfort the grief-stricken and have the moral courage to resist racism, transphobia, and to end human-made climate change. For we are star-born, we are earth-formed,
We are endowed by the evolutionary process. We are creatively emerging. We are beautiful. Nature says it, and so does Unitarian Universalism. Amen. I ask you now to rise in body and or spirit and join with me in our closing hymn, Blue Boat Home, which is number 1064 in your Teal hymnals. Please remain standing as we extinguish our chalice flame this, as Bob, or Joanna, are you going to extinguish it?
Yes.
Okay, Joanna, as Johanna extinguishes our chalice, let us read together the words printed in our order of service, or on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts with its message of love and justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we live in until we are together again. As we close our service this morning, I invite you to place a hand over your heart. If you're joining us online, I invite you to turn your settings to gallery view and look upon the faces of those here with you. For those of us in the room, take a moment to look around at those here with you today. Everyone is invited to coffee hour following this service. May we go now more lifted up, better connected, and more balanced. May the great covenant we have with each other and with the mystery guide our minds and our hearts now and forever. Blessed be. And the people in the church said, Amen. All right.
Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry. Sunshine on the water looks so lovely. Sunshine almost always makes me high. If I had a day that I could give you, I'd give to you a day just like today. If I had a song that I could sing for you, I'd sing a song to make you feel this way. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry. Sunshine on the water looks so lovely. Sunshine almost always makes me high. If I had a tale that I could tell you, I'd tell a tale sure to make you smile. If I had a wish that I could wish for you, I'd make a wish for sunshine all the while. Sing with me if you know this. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry. Sunshine on the water looks so lovely. Sunshine almost always makes me high. Sunshine almost all the time makes me high.